Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of JavaScript. Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. Got a little sidetrack there. All right, so as you can see, we're in version 11.307. One question I've had come up in previous videos, mostly people that are just starting the series, and this is a great place to put the actual answer, because this is, believe it or not, I think this is probably the second to last episode of this series, because I can't really think of anything else I really wanted to cover, or topics that we haven't really covered that are kind of related to this. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. We may keep a couple more episodes after this and the next one. But the JavaScript itself, ECMAScript is what it really is. I've said that before. And the people that make ECMAScript have been trying, as far as I know, been trying to always keep it backwards compatible. So everything we're learning in here, this is the JavaScript that is just JavaScript. It really should never change how it interacts with Foundry unless they change the programming language they use or something like that. So anyway, the things we're learning here, other than maybe when we're trying to apply our knowledge, that stuff could change, but the base JavaScript stuff should always be compatible. So anyway, let's go ahead and get going. So I've come across a couple things that I wanted to actually mention that I didn't mention. I just wanted to check real quick when we did. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go ahead and do two topics on this one. We're going to learn about the at method, which is used for arrays, and also can be used with strings. And before that, we're going to learn about the IFFE, which is an immediately crud. What's an IFFE? I'm drawing an immediately invoked function expression. And what that means is, well, we're going to get into that. So let's first create our macro here. Actually, we just do it here. And just say put it in our folder, fundamentals. We are on 18. So we're going to do 18 and dash, and we're going to do IFFE, which is IFFE, and at method. I'm just going to do it like that for at method. I don't know how else to do it. So let's get our template going real quick. Control C and Control V. Oh, another question that's actually come up is that I mentioned that I use the macro editor. It had its last compatibility verified, I guess, with version 9, but everything I've seen so far is still working fine. You can also use the advanced macro editor. There's some quirks with it that I really don't like that much, so I actually am sticking with this until it doesn't work any longer. Alright, so let's go ahead. I'm going to cut my comments real quick here and paste them here. So as you can see here, I have the IFFE is immediately invoked function expressions, and IFFE functions run once and never again. So the reason they run once and never again is because once they have been invoked, they can't be invoked again, and that's because they actually don't have a name. So the way you would declare an IFFE is basically inside parentheses. You would actually put your function information. So in this case, well, actually, let's talk about regular functions, how we can call them real quick, because that's how I have it in my notes. So this is going to be a normal function that we're going to do here, and to be honest too, I ran into some trouble trying to think, how do I actually use TTRPG type of examples. So bear with me if you don't like them. So we're going to say this is a normal function expression. Function expression. And expressions, whatever. And so we already know that, you know, we could do const const, boy, I'm out of practice here. And we're just going to do a drink potion. It's not going to actually do anything other than display some text saying that we're drinking some potion, right? So we're going to say drink, P-O-T-I-O-N, like that. And we don't need to pass it anything. And basically all it's going to do is console.log. And we'll use my wizard named Rice, R-H-Y-S, D-R-I-N-K, drinks a healing potion. Man, I really like the J key. So Rice drinks a healing potion, and that's it. So this is a standard function. Why are you saying this? Drink potion is initialized to undefined. Oh, I did this a little bit wrong because this is a function expression. And then we need to say F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, like that. Sorry. I was declaring it as a function, but then we wouldn't do const, we'd do def and, you know, all that stuff. Or wait. I don't want to mess it up with Python. So we're just doing a function expression. Okay, so in order to call this now, what we would do is just do D-R-I-N-K-P-O-T-I-O-N, like so. Man, I love that J key. Let's see, and then we'll do that. Just for consistency, we'll do that. Go ahead and hit F12, and we're going to get that dumb error. And if we run this, you'll see it just says Rye drinks a healing potion. Now we can invoke this or call it multiple times. So if we do it one more time, you'll actually see that we can call it multiple times, no problem. That's functions that we've learned. Now an IFFE function is one, like I said, that's only invoked when it's created and can never be invoked again. So if we, basically the way we create an IFFE function is we kind of encapsulate our function inside of parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead, let's see, by putting an unnamed function. Is it one N or two? N-A-M-E-D, I don't know. Unnamed F-U-N-C-T-I-N function in parentheses. I'll just say parentheses like that. It becomes an IFFE function. I-F-F-E F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N. And part of the reason you can't declare it, like I said, is because, or you can't call it, is because it is unnamed. It doesn't have a name for you to call. So let's go ahead and we're going to do something that could only be done once. Let's say there's a portal that Rise is going to destroy. It can only be destroyed once, then it's gone, so we won't be able to do it. So what we do to do an IFFE function is we do F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, like we're doing a function. Oh, that's the job, not, we just type function, not def. Def is Python. And it's unnamed, so we're not actually giving it a name here. And then everything else is pretty much the same. We just do, oops, I want to put that here. And we'll just do console.log. And we'll say Rise destroys the portal. Yeah. I don't know why. R-H-Y-S-D-E-S-T-R-O-Y destroys the P-O-R-T-L. Alright, so here Rise is destroying a portal. And the way we tell it that we want to call this function, because here we're basically just declaring it, the way we say we want to call it is we just put an empty set of parentheses at the back of our whole functions parentheses, if that makes sense. And now if we run this, you'll see Rise destroys the portal. However, there's no way for us to call this again, which is why it's immediately evoked, basically a fire and forget. It's fired off and then it's forgotten. Now we can also do the IFFE function not just with, you know, a function like the way we're doing it here. We can also do it with an arrow function that we've learned how to do. And I'm just gonna do this part first. So we do that, and then we stick our arrow function in here. We can do a blank arrow function, and then of course our arrow itself, and then the return statement, or if we're doing a multi-line, then we would do it that way. But we're just gonna say, oh, what can Rise do now? RH, Rise finishes off the big bad evil guy. Finishes off the BBEG. Boom, boom, boom. And so you can also do it as an arrow function. So as you can see here, now Rise just, oh, whoops, I didn't do console log, did I? I knew something was wrong. console.log, and then we'll go ahead and clear it. And now we get an error because I got console. There you go. Rise finishes off the big bad evil guy. So that is an immediately invoked function expression. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Where you use them most commonly, I really don't know. I don't think I've really ever used them in all the things I've done, but it is one of JavaScript's things, and I wanted to cover it. So the next thing we're going to cover is an array method, and the next video that I'm going to do is actually going to be even more array methods, but this one would be a super short video if I didn't do at least this in there. So the array method that we're going to talk about is the at method. Array at method. I'm just going to do at persistence like that because that's what it is. So normally if we want to access an element of an array, and I'm just going to copy and paste this because once again, as you've seen me typing, I'm very prone to errors and not very fast at typing. Can I make you a little bigger and have that go on the same line just to look a little nicer? Nope. All right, so here you see we have an array called ARR. It contains multiple elements. We have short sword, dagger, short bow, shield, and 20 arrows. So, you know, this could be your equipment or something like that. We could call it equipment. We're just calling it this. Normally, if I want to access something in this array, what I would do is I would just, you know, we know that this is element 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's say I wanted to access the short bow. What I would do was just do console.log. Actually, well, that reminds me, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to put this right here to give us a nice separation. I don't think we need it up there. All right, so if I wanted to access, did I actually, no. If I wanted to access, say, one of these elements, the short bow, for example, let's say this is on your back, you know, item on back, something like that, and we'll just do that. We'll do a comma. How I would do this is I would do ARR, and then I would use the square brackets, and I would say this is 0. Sorry, I had to sneeze. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So then I would say I want element number 2, right? And this would return that item on back colon would return that it is the short bow, exactly what we're expecting to do. So another way that we can do this, and this is a fairly new method that's been added to recent versions of ECMAScript or JavaScript, is the at method. And so what we can do here now is we can actually say the exact same thing just about, but instead of doing the square brackets, we can do dot at and then parenthesis 2. Now I know what you're thinking. Why do I want to type more where I was before typing less? So let's say this is item 2. We'll say this is the right hand. We'll say this is item 0. So item in hand. So here you can see item in hand is the short sword. Well, and you're probably thinking, you know, this doesn't make sense. This is actually shorter to type. Usually improvements make things easier and shorter. And when we're actually accessing things in an array directly, this is not the most effective method. I think I had some notes in here real quick that I wanted to... Where this method actually comes in handy is when you're trying to access something from the last of the array, if you maybe don't know the size of the array. So if I have my comment right here, so if you want the second to last element of the array, maybe I should say that, of the array, but don't know the array's size, you could do the following. So this is the old way of doing it, and I'm just going to take this guy because I'm slow and hit enter a couple times. So the last element in the array here would be our 20 arrows. So we could say here, since we know what this is, say in QUIVER. So in order for us to access the last element of the array, what we would have to do normally is do array.length like that, and then we would need to, oh, this is the second to last, not the last. So then we do -2. And the reason we do that is because when this returns, it's not 0 base. So this would actually return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, this element is actually 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we wanted the very last one, we just do -1, which I guess we could just do in this example. So now we could say in quiver, and you'll see that we get an error because I must have mistyped something. Comma array. Let me just double check what I'm doing. Is it because I have the comma? Undefined array, ARR. Oh, whoops, ARR. I was saying array so much I just typed it. So there we go. So now we see in the quiver is 20 arrows. Now you can probably see right now that the nice thing about this using the new at is it automatically is going to just decide what the array size is. So let's say // us using the new at method. So what is our shield? Let's just say that's in our left hand. So we'll grab we'll put it on our arm or something. It's just so we have different things to look at up here. So we're going to say on arm or something. On arm. All right, so how we would do this for to use the at method, all we would have to do is say -2. Now this case, yes, it's much shorter. It basically implies this part when we're doing the minus. So now if we do this, you'll actually see on arm is the shield. So this is a much easier way for us to be able to get from the back of an array without knowing the actual size of the array. So we don't have to have this syntax anymore. We can just simply say at -2. It will automatically go to the back of the array because it's a negative, count in 2 items, and there you go. Now, I did mention at the very beginning of this video that this is also usable with strings. Even though strings technically are not an array, they kind of function like an array. So we can do, and we're out of time, so I'm just going to do a copy and paste with this to just show you. Control C and Control V. So here we have my rogue. His name is Brick Hindergrass. So if we are getting the element to the 4th place, we would be getting 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 would be a K, which is what I have written right here. If we want to do it from the back, because in this case maybe we don't know that his first and last name's in it, but we want the 4th element from the back, we just do the -4, and what it will do is go 1, 2, 3, and 4 and return us the R. So once again, when you're counting from the back, it starts at 1. When you're counting from the front, it starts at 0 because it's 0 based. But when you're usually going the other way, it's not. So if we run this, we shall see that we should get a K and an R returned back, which we do. So basically, in a nutshell, that is IFFE and the new method, the app method for arrays. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, learned something new. Like I said, this is probably the second to the last video. The only other thing I can really think of is some array methods, and then I think you guys are experts. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Follow me on Twitter, check out my Discord and my other channels. I keep forgetting my order. Tell other people about my channel. Check it out. If they like what they say, they can sub. We grow the channel. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.